right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our second heat of the day here on the second stream of the International 5 group stage. We've got Complexity versus Fnatic. Complexity continuing their hot streak. They've gone 3-0 today and hoping to shut out Fnatic just as they did Cloud9. After that performance, Purge, it feels like a real possibility.
Yeah, definitely. Fnatic had some really good moments in that last game. Ohio played fantastic. He was a part of 100% of the kills up until like the 15-minute mark. But their chain stuns were a bit lacking late game, and they didn't quite have enough disables to stop the Ember. They did kill him quite a few times, but it always cost them a big teamfight ultimate. And because of the way that Complexity plays, where they just spread across the entire map and they're all farming, every time one hero would die, it wasn't actually that big of a deal. So I feel like their playstyle is just like, oh, I tanked the gank, guys, and everybody else is like, cool, and they just keep on farming, and they keep getting an advantage there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just amazing map awareness, but they constantly have over-farmed supports, and their cores as well, very far. Moon Meander always gets the core items. You never see his Darkseer, and you're like, yeah, I wish he had more items. He always has so many big items, and as soon as they got that pipe, it just became so tough for Fnatic to win fights.
Yeah, and part of the Fnatic playstyle, they really like those early skirmishes. They first picked Undying last game, and here we're seeing it again. And unfortunately, when you take that hero, it does bottleneck your strategy a little bit in that he needs to fight. It's not just that he wants to, but as you talked about, he doesn't really farm if you're not winning team fights. And that's when you start to have this big, clunky zombie that doesn't bring a whole lot to the table. So even when Fnatic was getting kills, it always seemed like they had to rotate too many heroes to really make it a great exchange. A lot of times, sure, you want a 4v1, but in the end, it's almost more of a break even from all the split pushing. Complexity, though, they'll grab Tusk Naga. This is one of the scariest openers, I think. You know, you look at these big damage dealing heroes like a Shadow Fiend Quap opener or a less Shadow Fiend, but there's so much reset capability here. You've got Snowball and Song of the Siren right out of the gate, two heroes that Complexity are really comfortable with. Already, this draft seems like a good start for Complexity. They can take it in a bunch of different ways.
And Tusk has kind of moved away from first pick kind of a hero, and now he's more of an occasional thing. And I've honestly full confidence with Complexity that they'll fit him into their lineup in a good way. I know that maybe their day 1, day 2 wasn't amazing, and they did pick him in some of those games. But after watching them the last 2 days, they seem like one of the best teams in the entire tournament, and I'm absolutely sure that they can play him correctly.
Yeah, 100%. Techies banned out by Fnatic. Smart read there. We've seen the pairing of Tusk Techies quite a few times, and Complexity, one of the teams that have run it, so covering their bases there. Third and fourth bans from Call. Bloodseeker and the Storm Spirit, two very mobile heroes that I guess they just simply don't want to play against.
So last pick coming out. I don't know what to do. I mean, Shadow Fiend's banned by Complexity themselves, so that won't be their typical swindle.
I'd be tempted to ban the Lina at this point, based on how well Fly has played it. I mean, she's
that's
not
true.
Well, there it is. Okay.
All right. And that was a very good scaling support. Like, it's a support that if you continuously farm it, you actually will be very relevant because it scales so well. Like, if you farm a Crystal Maiden, if you overfarm a CM, like, what are you going to do? Get BKB Yags? Like, yeah, that's good, but it's still a little random, and it doesn't allow you to just kill those really important heroes.
Yeah. Well, speak of the devil, Fnatic go for Crystal Maiden. Fits well with their style. That Arcane Aura will help out the lanes, allow that Undying in particular to spam decays pretty much as he wants to. Good aggressive support, can rotate around, also farm in the jungle if the lanes don't work out to be as aggressive as Fnatic may want. Not a bad opener here.
The rotation aspect is definitely very important. More mana for Undying is good too. That hero is very strong with mana, but when he's out of mana, he's pretty poor. And Gyro also, with the nerfs, he's had some mana problems. So I think if they integrate the ganking very well, it'll put him in a good spot. And I have some confidence in Kachik Imba. I can't remember how to say it. I called
you hold the I. The proper way, Kachik Imba. Kind of
I saw the video and I was like, I am not saying that right.
It's tricky. Yeah, that's one of those.
I should just give up and stick to the regular maybe. No, I'll go practice that. 5 hours tonight, maybe 5 hours next day. I'm going to come back and I'm going to know how to say his name.
You'll get it one of those days. I remember the first time I saw Ohio's name and I was really embarrassed when I learned that, Ohio. Okay, well, that's an easy word to say. It looks scarier than
How'd you try to pronounce it?
Oh hey, yo. I thought it was like hey yo, like hey yo, what's up?
It does, yeah.
I
think that's fair. It just sounds really dorky, so they can make fun of you for it. I think that's
that was one of those. God's corrected that one pretty darn quick, I think.
Yeah, I can believe that. All right, so
Razor now for Complexity.
It's good against Gyro. It's pretty good against Undying as well. I think the the ultimate of Razor will kill zombies, which is pretty nice. I'm pretty sure it does. Good against Gyro because you can get a lot of minus armor on him and kill him. You can sap his damage, which exponentially decreases his damage output because obviously every damage you sap is one less done through Flak Cannon. So
Yes.
I think the Razor versus Gyro pick is good. Versus CM, it's also a pretty good thing. Like, yeah, you can Nova the Razor, but if you keep spamming Frostbite on him, it also slows you for 2 seconds. And that is a huge amount of time that a Crystal Main would rather be juking and avoiding damage. So I think the Razor pick here is pretty solid. I am anticipating this being... Well, it could be Ziz's hero because Razor can kind of gank, but I don't think it's quite as gank heavy as I normally play it, so I'm almost guaranteed this is Swindle's hero.
Yeah.
Because the heroes he play are they're very much the siege, mech, mid heroes. And
Yes.
Razor fits that playstyle much like a Shadow Fiend does. So I think this will be a mid Razor, support Naga, probably offlane Tusk. They still need a hero for Fly, and they still need a hero for Ziz then.
Yep. I completely agree. Based on these 3 heroes, that would be the way I'd predict they set up these lanes. Tusk just fits Moon Meander's playstyle very well. Very mobile, can be very aggressive, but also spend some time in the lane. Now, this is a tried and true classic for Complexity. When this team was first starting to get their feet wet with Dota and making a splash on the competitive scene, this was their go-to pickup. They've played it so much more than most of the other teams in this tournament. Even on patches when Enigma hasn't been popular, we've seen... Actually, almost a surprising amount of Enigma in this group stage. So
a lot from them actually. The other previous Enigmas, we saw that really sick play from Z Freak where he went for the sell mech into Refresher and to win the team fight and save their axe.
Yeah.
That was really cool. A bit of a sacrifice with the mech's sale because you're losing about 1,100 gold, but it was completely worth it in that moment.
I know EG has played Enigma at least once or twice as well.
That would make sense. That I could definitely see them doing that.
Yeah.
The complexity lanes are a little changed here, unless we're going to see Fly play a 5 Naga Siren, or play a Tusk, which is possible.
I wonder if
the
they'll
lanes will
farm
change.
the Naga instead of putting her on support. I mean, maybe that could be your
That was
Ziz
my
hero.
first thought. It was that Naga could be Ziz, and they have played that before, I believe, with him playing Naga Siren. So it's not completely unlikely. Gyro's fine against Naga carry, maybe not amazing, but fine.